Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is sunny and extremely cold in Montreal, Laval area. 9 degrees Fahrenheit, about, I don't know, 18, negative 18, negative 18 Celsius. Anyway, good to be talking with you. Christmas is almost upon us. Today is the 8th of December. And so, surely many of us are getting ready for Christmas. We're preparing, we're reflecting, and we want it to be a meaningful time. Nancy and I just got down our Christmas tree and put it up and put on quite a few decorations. We used to do that, obviously, with the children, but now they have their own places. So, anyway, so I'd like to touch over the next maybe week or two or three on a couple different aspects of Christmas and what it's all about. And today, actually, I'm going to talk about three people that, in fact, were not did not show up for the first Christmas, the birth of Jesus at in the stable or in wherever the cave wherever he was being born and being housed at that point. um, I say three because we know there were at least three, what we call in English the wise men. Three wise men had come to find this baby, this king of the Jews. And fascinating. I accept the story as true. I don't think it's f- fictional or mythical. Um, but as I said, they were not there at the stable. They were not there at the actual birth. What we find out in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2, and verses 1 through 11, 12, is that these three guys, plus probably their entourage, because there are signs these are not poor people. These three wise men, these three uh, kind of, they're a mix of astronomers, maybe astrologers, uh, science, uh, scientific people, and and even a priestly type mix. This is what the interpretations or the Bible interpreters say. These people probably came from Persia, and it doesn't surprise me at all that for the most important birth in the whole history of humanity, which Jesus' birth is surely by far the most important in all of humanity. It doesn't surprise me that there were celestial signs, heavenly phenomena going on that these people picked up on. And the other thing we find in the Middle East at that time, around the birth of Jesus, is there was a lot of talk about a coming Messiah, even coming out of Israel, and uh, and so the wise men type people throughout the Middle East would be watching, waiting, looking for these signs and for information. So anyway, these guys could have traveled upwards of 1,000 kilometers, 600 miles, maybe a little more, um, and and they arrive, and it makes sense. They arrive in Jerusalem. They're looking for the King of the Jews, right? They want to know where he's been born, and so they come to Jerusalem, which that's normal. That's the capital for the Jews, and there is already a king on the throne, Herod. Herod the Great is on the throne. He's not even Jewish. He was put there by the Romans. He wasn't put there by the Jews. So he was not a very popular king. And they show up. They come into town and they're asking, "Hey, where's the King of the Jews? Where's the King of the Jews? Saw his star in the east, and we've come to worship him." And So Herod gathers the priests, and the priests rightly say he's supposed to be born in Bethlehem. And yet, as they say this, they're not really reacting. They're not saying, hey, we should go over there because it's all a few miles away. Let's go over there and check this out. No, they're just telling Herod, and they let it go. It's like uh, they're not paying any attention to the three wise men and their entourage. Maybe they're thinking, what do these foreigners know about biblical prophecy, about Hebrew prophecy? But anyway, they don't really react. Herod reacts some. He was a very paranoid king. He was cruel, incredibly cruel. He assassinated his wife, his mother-in-law. He assassinated three of his sons. He was this guy was this guy was diabolical. Okay, so he kind of perks up and he says, "Look, you guys go off and find him, and when you find him, let me know." So it's significant that the wise men from afar are making an effort, like really making an effort to encounter Jesus and meet him face to face. Remember, we're talking about face to face encounters with Jesus. And here are these three foreigners going to all sorts of trouble, effort, danger to show up and look for this baby. So they head off to Bethlehem. Somehow the star keeps guiding them. And at this point in time, it says Jesus and his mother were in a house. They're not in the stable, they're not in the cave. They're still hanging around Bethlehem, but they're in a house. And it says the three wise men enter the house and they fall on their knees and they worship the child because he's no longer a baby now, but could be one, could be two. They worship the child. You know, we appreciate all different types of Christians, but we have to say it's very significant that the three wise men do not fall down on their knees and worship Mary. Mary's important. Mary's critical. Mary is a phenomenal example of someone who worships God and obeys him and puts herself at his service. But she's not to be worshipped. She's not to be adored or even venerated. So they fall down, they worship the child, and they present three gifts. One is gold. Gold is commonly recognized as the metal of kings. It's a precious, precious metal. And so one person presents gold to the child or toddler Jesus. One presents myrrh. Myrrh had kind of two uses. Myrrh in the Old Testament was used to in a mix of liquid when they anointed the priests. And in the New Testament, it was often used in burial. So here's gold communicating this this child is a king, and he is worthy of gold. Myrrh, this child is to be buried. This child has to die. That's what the myrrh is communicating. And frankincense is the incense that the priests burned and the fumes went up to God symbolically as prayer. The priest's role is to make that connection between God and the people, which is, of course, Jesus' supreme role. He's called the great high priest, and he makes that connection. Only he can be the mediator between God and people because he is God and he is a true human. And so he can make that link. And so it's not coincidence that these men who are alert and listening and looking out into the universe bring these gifts to this child and they put these before him and worship him. And I think that the application for us is simple enough. Um, as we get a deeper and deeper appreciation of who Jesus is, as we keep meeting him face to face in different circumstances of our lives and through different people, through others, okay? Through nature, we see him speaking to us. So as we get to know him better and better, it's only natural to worship and to offer something of ours to him, offer it to him for his service. That's what I said about Mary. What an example. She said to God, I am your humble servant, and I will carry this holy child for 9 months and give birth to him and then raise him. Very significant. And so at this time of year, let's be thinking of not only receiving as we, receive gifts, but what can we be giving? And what can we specifically be giving to God Himself? What can we offer Him anew uh, this Christmas time? Good. Have a great Christmas.